Hi there and welcome to this grand tour through X-Plane 11 Freeware Addons. My name is Thomas Rasmussen, and if this is your first time on the channel and you like aviation and flight simulation and want to learn more about X-Plane 11 or just like to watch cinematic flight videos and other flight simulation related stuff, then start now by hitting subscribe and clicking the bell so you don't miss anything. Okay, so today I'll share my ultimate list of freeware add-ons for X-Plane 11. The list includes what I consider to be the absolutely best in each of their respective categories. I'll go through mobile apps, aircraft, scenery, third-party programs, plugins, scenery enhancements, and much more. In total, this video will cover 65 amazing X-Plane 11 freeware add-ons. Now, there's a ton of amazing freeware add-ons out there for X-Plane 11, and even though this video includes a long list, it's only a small percentage of the total amount of superb freeware add-ons available. I have quite a few other videos covering top-notch freeware add-ons, so if there's something you feel you're missing on this list, please go ahead and check out my other X-Plane add-on videos. A link to these video playlists can be found in the video description down below. Also, if you like using any of these freeware add-ons, please consider donation to the developer. This is a great way to show your appreciation and also a great way to motivate the developer to continue developing. Okay, enough introduction. Let's get started with what I consider to be the best free scenery / environmental enhancement add-ons for X-Plane 11. The first one is Vivid Sky, which is a package that contains sky effects and optional components to improve your X-Plane environment. Custom sky textures and improved sunsets with smaller sun with atmospheric scattering, improved representation and performance of cloud puffs and lighting, optional fixes for mesh glitches around mountains and holes in terrain, more realistic water, which is also an optional but definitely recommended addition. Also optional is improved shadow detail. Also an optional fix for glowing fog after sunset. Next up is Marine Traffic X. This is an X-Plane plugin for Windows users only, unfortunately, that enhances the scenery by adding ships moving along real-world maritime routes to your X-Plane 11 C. This plugin is sort of a successor of the old sea traffic plugin by Marginal, if any of you know it, which unfortunately stopped working along the way during the X-Plane 11 development cycle. Anyways, this plugin fixes that, and in fact it uses the exact same ships and routes as Marginal's sea traffic plugin, in addition to updated routes from OpenStreetMaps. Number 3 is XEurope from SimHeaven. Now, Laminar Research does a great job when it comes to creating autogen objects. However, when it comes to placing these autogen objects, things could be a little better, and this is where XEurope comes in. XEurope is an extremely accurate autogen package of all of Europe based on the latest OpenStreetMaps data. OpenStreetMaps is a collaborative effort where people around the world helps define the location of buildings, forests, roads, building heights and color, and everything else to match the real world. If there's something missing, no worries, because you can jump in and add things to the OpenStreetMaps project yourself. So, as you can imagine, OpenStreetMaps is incredibly useful in an application like X-Plane if you want everything to look just right. And as you can see, it looks absolutely incredible. On a side note, this is a large package, nearly 6 GB, and it can be very hardware intensive, so if you're not on the latest hardware, you will need to play around with your X-Plane 11 settings to find the best compromise between frames per second and visual appearance. X-Plane 11 is well known for its awesome night lighting, but unfortunately there's one thing that kills it a tiny little bit, and maybe you've noticed it too. Have you ever been annoyed about lights popping up in the distance at night in X-Plane? Well, then extended night lighting will definitely be something for you. What it does is, as the name says, it extends the night lights in X-Plane 11 all the way to the horizon, and the best of it all, there's minimal to no impact on frames per second in the sim, and it works both with and without orthophoto scenery. The download is made up of smaller packages that, when put together, covers almost the whole world. Next up is another lighting add-on. Enhanced Lights is a mod that changes the lights in X-Plane by adding much more street lights in cities, so that cities will look much brighter worldwide. Furthermore, street lights has been removed from highways in most of Europe. I've made a short video to show you how these lights differ from the default ones, so you're able to decide for yourself. Streetlights will light up roads much more than before. In my opinion, this light mod improves the night lights considerably. HD Forest by Mr. X6 is a high-resolution replacement package for the default trees in X-Plane 11. As with everything Mr. X6, this is a package that is well worth installing if you are looking for an improvement over the default trees. Up next is Librain, which is a windshield rain and ice effect library developed by Sasu Kiselkov for X-Plane 11. As of now, there are many aircraft that natively supports this plugin, while in other cases aircraft can often be upgraded. So go ahead and search the xplane.org download section if there's a particular upgrade you're looking for. Another Mr. X6 add-on is Airport Environment HD, which is a comprehensive object and texture replacement package that improves the look of all airports in X-Plane. The package replaces runway and taxiway textures, blast pads, runway shoulders, skid marks, taxiway signs, apron lights, fuel tanks, baggage carts, cargo dollies, GPUs, tractors and cargo trucks, painted ground signs, ramp markings, taxi lines and terrain textures on airport areas. FSEnhancer is a set of cloud and sky textures in addition to Lua scripts that aims to improve the look of the sky, clouds, water and cloud shadows. The add-on features photoreal sky textures, Ultra HD cloud textures based on real photographs, photoreal sun textures with light scattering effects for dusk and dawn, water wave animations for water to look more realistic. Finally, it features enhanced cloud shadows. On a side note, the official version of FSEnhancer is 0.5, but there's currently a version 0.6 in development which has been released in beta and which is also the version shown here. And final on the list of freeware add-ons that enhances the appearance of X-Plane 11 is orthophotos, or Ortho for XP. Now, what are orthophotos? Well, orthophotos are satellite images taken from different sources such as Google, Bing or others, and then projected to a terrain mesh in X-Plane 11 and with an overlay of orthogen including houses, trees and roads on top of everything. Orthophotos can vary in resolution and can also be made in a way where resolution around airports is higher than in places where you'd usually be in cruise. The higher the resolution, the more clear and detailed it'll look, and the more storage it will take up on your hard disk. So you'll have to decide about your personal best compromise between hard disk storage and appearance. This compromise is of course individual, but personally I find a zoom level of 16 to be suitable if you're usually flying airliners, and zoom 17 or higher if you're usually flying general aviation aircraft and around airports. Now there are different ways to achieve these orthophotos. Either you can make them yourselves with a program called Ortho4XP. You can find a link to Ortho4XP in the video description. If you haven't used the program before, please be aware that making orthophotos takes a lot of time and can be a little tricky to begin with. So if you'd rather take the easy approach and download pre-made photo sceneries, then there's a lot of different sources to do that. I have a playlist with a few videos including links to some great sources for X-Plane 11 photo scenery. So if this is the way you consider to do it, well then don't hesitate, just check out my playlist, find it in the description down below. Well folks, that was the end of Freeware Addons that enhances the scenery in X-Plane 11. Next up is third-party programs. First one worth mentioning is Reshade. Now what is Reshade? Reshade is a program used to add visual post-processing effects to X-Plane 11 and in fact a long list of other programs and games. Effects range from most basic effects such as contrast, brightness, saturation and so on, to advanced lens dust effects, blooming effects, depth of field and such. And let's face it, when it works it looks absolutely stunning, and as you can see, so close to reality that it's hard to tell it's only a simulation. But to tell you the truth, I'm personally not the biggest fan of Reshade.
But why on earth is it even on the list then?
Well, that's a really good question, thanks for asking. I see a lot of Reshade fans out there using it with great success, and there's a great chance that you, as viewer of this video, will also get great results with what Reshade has to offer. Personally, and I have to say it's been some time since I tested it, but I've always had some weird artifacts with it, and that is why I've always ended up uninstalling it again. But if you haven't tested Reshade yourself, well, then it's definitely worth taking a look. Apsoft Airplane Toolbox is a very handy program that can be used to calculate takeoff and landing performance, fuel consumption and the like of included aircraft profiles. Profiles available are, among others, Cibo 737, TOLIS, Airbus 319 and many more. Okay, so to make a video about X-Plane 11 and third-party programs and miss this next program would be a huge mistake. WED World Editor is an open source 2D scenery and airport editor for X-Plane. This is the program to use if you are dreaming about creating scenery and airports in X-Plane 11. It's available on all 3 platforms. SimToolkitPro is a very useful application for X-Plane 11 that can be used for a wealth of different things. Do notice that at the time of this video it's still in early access. It features a customizable weather system along with a real weather injector incorporating winds aloft and turbulence. Additionally, you can disable updating of weather on approach to avoid sudden weather reloads during landings. There's an approach practice tool with instant custom setup of any approach type, straight final, vectors, base and downwind at any runway and airport in the world. Furthermore, after touchdown you'll receive a landing report with touchdown data, graphs of aircraft telemetry and a replay mode. You can load your latest flight plan from SimBrief and view a fully passed route with all waypoints mapped. Overlaying onto a live map that shows your aircraft location, rain, weather information and winds. Retrieve live weather and tune to ATIS for any airport you're at with automated ATIS generation and text-to-speech. Furthermore, it includes tools for streaming with OBS, including live map output with route overlay, a set of custom text file outputs for data to power your own overlay. The overlay can even be customized with everything you could need, including flight plan data, speed and location information, and ETA. The program holds a great amount of information, including full airport database with maps, runway information, frequency information, and real-time weather reports. Also, on the live map you'll be able to follow flights from VATSIM, IVAO, and Pilot Edge. Little Navmap is a free open source electronic flight bag including flight planner, navigation tool, moving map, airport search and airport information system for FSX, Prepared and Explain 11. The program can read the full Explain scenery database, airports, aprons, taxiways, nav aids, airways and procedures including speed limits, and it supports nav data updates. AI aircraft can be displayed on the map and in the information window. It reads weather from the Explain downloaded weather file. Furthermore, the program can load and save FMS and FLP flight plan files. The moving map needs a small plugin, XP Connect, to be installed into the plugins folder of Explain. Altitude and one-way restrictions for airways are considered when calculating flight plans. And it works on both Windows, Mac and Linux. Next up is Freeware Scenery. Golf Charlie Romeo Romeo by FlyX Simulations is a depiction of Lanzarote Airport on the northernmost of the Canary Islands located off the coast of Africa. The island is Spanish territory and a very popular tourist destination for European holiday makers due to the hot weather all year round. Also particularly popular with plane spotters due to the excellent plane spotting location just at the threshold of runway 3. This scenery features highly detailed buildings and objects, 4K textures, PBR ground textures, custom ground markings, 3D terminal interiors, 3D grass, animated ground traffic, and orthophotos covering the airport. Sierra Bravo, Sierra Papa, Congonhas International Airport by Richard Nunes of Global Art Scenery is a depiction of one of the 4 commercial airports serving Sao Paulo in Brazil. This infamous airport is well known for several incidents due to slippery runways and was also included on a top 10 over the most dangerous airports in the world made by National Geographic. So if you're in for a challenge, then you should definitely go have a look at this scenery package. It really does do its real-world counterpart good justice. Next up is Kilo Mike Golf Mike or Montgomery Regional Airport, made by Xcoder and Aero Designs, also 2 payware scenery developers. It's a regional airport in Montgomery, Alabama, with 2 runways, 10 and 28, which is about 9,000 feet long, and 3 and 21, which is about 4,000 feet long. The terminal has 4 gates and serves nearly 300,000 people every year. The scenery has an extensive feature list including ultra-detailed rendition of the airport with ultra-detailed ground textures, 1-foot resolution ortho imagery with decals for a more crisp look. Ultra HD pavement textures with normal maps for reflections and pebble level detail. HD building textures with advanced PBR normal maps for superb material properties and enhanced detail and wear and tear. Detailed ground clutter, detailed terminal interior with animated 3D people, ultra-realistic high-performance 3D vegetation, Explain 11 native service trucks, custom animations such as animated air conditioners, ambient scenery sounds based on location such as traffic and terminal interiors, World Traffic 3 support, full SAM support with custom animated jetways, seasons effects for summer, autumn and winter, weather effects such as rain and snow. All changes take place automatically on scenery reload without any file changes required. Now on to November Charlie Mike November, or Manuae, which is a small atoll in the southern group of the Cook Islands. I really like the tropical feel of this scenery with its dolphins jumping in the water, crystal blue water and its palm trees and small cottages spread around the island. It's kind of like a small paradise, and I've used it in a number of my videos in the past, as you can see with the video in the background, which is the video I made to show off the Icon A5. Gran Canaria, uploaded by Canario25, is a scenery of the island of Gran Canaria, including, as you can see, harbors, boats, cathedrals, beaches, with everything that goes with it. Yeah, essentially landmarks that are particular for Gran Canaria. There's a very large number of objects in this scenery, and as you can see, there's even 2D people spread around the streets. The scenery needs a large number of libraries, so do make sure to read the list on the download site before using it in Explain. Another note is that this scenery works well with the excellent orthophoto scenery package from Spain UHD. Next up is an iconic airport. 2 November Charlie 0, or Mountain Air Private Airfield by Peter Borowski, also known as HeyPet. Located in the Appalachian Mountains 30 minutes north of Asheville, North Carolina, Mountain Air is a perfect community airport. You will land right between the clubhouse and the golf course. At an elevation of 4,500 feet and surrounded by mountains, Mountain Air is a challenging airport to fly to. The scenery exists in 2 versions, one summer and one winter version. Unfortunately, they don't change on the fly, so you'd need to move files back and forth to be able to fly in summer versus winter. Anyways, the airport itself is iconic and the scenery does a good job to catch that feeling. On to the next scenery, which is actually not only one scenery but more the complete collection of sceneries from ISDG. The collection counts Melbourne Airport, Toronto Island and Toronto Pearson International Airport, Christchurch International Airport, Sydney Kingsford International Airport and a couple more. Unfortunately, they have not been updated since 2017, but most of them are still excellent today. Okay, the next scenery is an interesting one. On April 26th, 1986, there was a catastrophic nuclear disaster at the number 4 nuclear reactor in the Chernobyl nuclear power plant near the city of Pripyat in the north of the Ukrainian Soviet Socialist Republic. It's considered the worst nuclear disaster in history and is one of only 2 nuclear energy disasters rated at 7, the maximum severity on the International Nuclear Event Scale. The other being the 2011 Fukushima Daiichi nuclear disaster in Japan. As mentioned, the Chernobyl nuclear power plant was located near the now abandoned town of Pripyat, and the scenery by ECRA is a depiction of this abandoned area. The scenery includes 2 airports, Uniform Kilo Charlie Hotel, Chernobyl Airfield, and X-Ray Uniform Kilo Golf Yankee, the Graveyard Heliport. Besides that, the scenery includes the nuclear power plant, town of Pripyat, the graveyard, and the zone, where you'll find some stuff here and there. You'll find a lot of interesting stuff, including sound effects that are dependent on where you're located, and a lot of Easter eggs. Lima Echo India Bravo or Ibiza Airport is located on the Spanish island of Ibiza in the Mediterranean Sea off the eastern coast of Spain. The scenery by Luis Garcia covers Ibiza Airport, buildings of Del Villa, and around the city of Ibiza. Spain UHD is optional but highly recommended to be used in combination with the scenery for better ground imagery. Orbx, known for numerous ultra-high quality payware sceneries like the True Earth sceneries and a great amount of airports and airfields, do also have a few X-Plane 11 freeware airports. Some of the airports actually released as freeware to the X-Plane community even before Orbx entered the X-Plane market. The majority of them were made by Tony Wroblewski, alias Antwop, creator of World to X-Plane, an application to create overlays from OpenStreetMaps in X-Plane. Tony is now working with Orbx. Currently, their freeware sceneries counts Echo November, October Victor, Ørsted Volta Airport, Echo November, Hotel Alpha, Hamar Staffsberg, Lima 5-2, Oceano County, and Echo Golf 2-0, Clench Common Field. Common for them is that they are all ultra high quality. Also do make sure to check out all Orbx payware scenery, the True Earth series in particular, which is mind-blowing. On to Lebor Simulations Beirut, which is actually both a depiction of Beirut City and Oscar Lima Bravo Alpha Beirut Rafik Hariri International Airport. The scenery took the developer more than 2 years to build, and as you can see, it's magnificent with lots of landmark buildings, stadiums, boats and harbors. The Krabi for X-Plane projects is a number of very interesting kind of sandbox sceneries with lots of gems to discover. The first one being Bamboo Island, which is a fictional version of Bamboo Island and Mosquito Island, as well as 2 bonus islands around Krabi, a province in Thailand. The next one is Kopoda Island, which is a collection of islands with a lot of things to explore. Among others are beaches, a Buddha, and more helipads. The scenery Krabi Outback completes this semi-fictional scenery package to a total adventure in the tropical rainforest of islands of the Krabi region. It's supposed to invite you on a voyage of discovery to reflect the tropical rainforest atmosphere you'll find in Thailand. A special feature is the plug-in controlled events and location-related sounds used to game the atmosphere. The runways are ideally suited for short takeoff and landing planes, and the entire scenery is clearly helicopter friendly. So if you're looking for adventure, look no further, because you'll have plenty of things here to discover. And that brings us on to PropStrike Studios' Matchmell Fisheries in British Columbia. In 1998, the Matchmell Fisheries was opened and surveyed by helicopter when researchers from the Department of Fisheries had to measure water levels and study fish in the nearby creek. The result was the Matchmell Fisheries Camp, a 900-meter long narrow bush strip 44 nautical miles south of Bella Coola. The camp was open for 6 months and rarely used again. Today you can find the old strip and some of the abandoned facilities. Trails to both beaches surrounding the area can be found in this scenery, and a lodge with a helipad. The scenery features hand-painted custom ground textures at a 10 cm per pixel resolution, highly accurate 3D vegetation including grass, shrubs, bushes and trees, dock for seaplane operations, hundreds of clutter objects in many variations, forest clearing with cabin and helipad. Do also make sure to check out PropStrike Studios' payware scenery Poitam River, which is absolutely brilliant. Next up is another sandbox scenery package by the same creator that developed the crappy 4X-Plane project, the SimHeaven La Mancha scenery in Spain. Currently there's only one part to this scenery, but it's the developer's plan to release more. The focus of this scenery, along with helicopter flying, has been to do another experimental design and storytelling. The scenery is, like Crappy 4X-Plane, a fictional playground scenery with an area filled with things that are connected with everything else in the scenery, and all locations have its own part of the history. The scenery also comes with a map and even its own newspaper if you want to dive in deep. The last freeware scenery on the list is actually a collection of sceneries, namely Everything Mr. X6. Mr. X6 has been known for years for his amazing creations of freeware sceneries in X-Plane. His sceneries counts San Francisco International Airport and City, Boston Logan, Phoenix Sky Harbor and many more. And even also a complete autogen package for Japan with buildings, vehicles, highway signs and landmark buildings for Tokyo and Naha in Japan Pro. All Mr. X6's freeware sceneries are all highly recommended. Do also make sure to check out his payware sceneries developed under the short final design label. And that completes the first part of this video. In the next part we are going to have a look at freeware mobile apps, freeware aircraft and freeware plugins. So do make sure to subscribe to the channel and click the bell to make sure you'll get notified when part 2 is up. Also, please don't forget to like and share. Thank you so much for watching and see you very soon.